Do you know who does not want you men to express your love? Satan. Because it's his greatest desire. He was the worship leader. He got kicked out of heaven. His greatest desire is to stop every person on this earth from worshiping God. What was, what is, here's point number 3, what will be. What will be Satan's desire? The great thing about being a Christian is we have the end of the book. We know how it's going to turn out. Revelation 13:4 says, so they worship the dragon. If you don't know who the dragon is, Revelation 12:9 says, so the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan. So we know who it is, it's Satan. So they worship the dragon who gave authority to the beast. And they worship the beast, saying, who is like the beast and who is able to make war with him? Now, I don't know if the last 2 statements there jump out at you, but they jumped out at me the very first time I ever read them. Who is like the beast and who is able to make war with him? You know why that jumps out? Because that's in Exodus 15. When the children of Israel crossed the Red Sea, Miriam led them in a worship song. The horse and the rider he is thrown in the sea. And she leads all of Israel in this song. And in that song, here there are 2 lines that go like this. Who is like our God? And who is able to make war with him? Who is like our God and who is able to make war with him? It's called the Song of Moses, by the way. And Revelation says that we're going to sing that song in heaven. So you might want to brush up on the words, otherwise you'll have to watch the screens in heaven. Who is like our God and who is able to make war with him? And in the end times, people are singing that about Satan. Who is like the beast and who is able to make war with him? Now here's what's going to happen. Well, just to answer the question. Revelation 17:4 says it this way. These are of one mind and they will give their power and authority to the beast. These will make war with the Lamb, but the Lamb will overcome them. For he is Lord of Lords and King of Kings. So here's what's going to happen. One day Jesus is going to be sitting on his throne and they're going to be on earth singing, who is like the beast and who is able to make war with him? And Jesus is going to turn to Gabriel and say, what'd they say? And Gabriel, he's been waiting for this day for a long time. He's going to say, they said who's like the beast and who's able to make war with him? That's what they said, Lord. And Jesus is going to say, Gabe, that's what he calls him because they're close. Get me my sword. And John describes what happens next. He describes it like this. And I saw heaven open, and behold, a white horse. And he that sat upon him is called Faithful and True, and in righteousness he doth judge and wage war. And his eyes are a flame of fire, and on his head are many crowns, and he's clothed with a vesture dipped in blood. And he has a name written which no man knows but he himself. And the armies, clothed in fine linen, white and clean, followed him on white horses. And out of his mouth goes a sharp sword, that with it he should smite the nations. For he shall rule them with a rod of iron, for he treads the fierceness and the wrath of Almighty God. And his name is King of Kings and Lord of Lords. That is who is able to make war with him. That's who is able to make war with him. Okay, now let me just remind you that it said that Satan, Lucifer, was covered with every precious stone. By the way, you know what precious stones do, don't you? They reflect light. Why would Lucifer have been covered with every precious stone? He was to reflect the light of God to all of heaven. He was to reflect light. Okay, here's what's so amazing. Lucifer was covered with every precious stone. When you read Revelation 21, and it says, I saw the bride, the New Jerusalem, coming down out of heaven, prepared as a bride for her husband. Listen, the bride, listen to what John says. And it was covered, the bride was covered with every precious stone. Lucifer was created with instruments. Did you know you were created with instruments? Lucifer was created with strings, wind, and percussion instruments. Do you know you have strings in your throat? We call them cords, vocal cords. Do you know how you make those strings make a sound? Wind passes over them. Woke some of you up, didn't I? and you were created with percussion instruments. Lucifer, ever covered with every precious stone, the bride covered with every precious stone. Lucifer had instruments created in his body. You have instruments created in your body. I wonder if one day a conversation like this happened after God cast Lucifer to earth, and there's all this void, and then God comes and begins straightening things up, and he speaks light, and he creates the stars, and he creates the plants and the animals and all, and then on the sixth day he's walking on the earth, and Lucifer might have said something like this to him: hey, who's going to give you praise now? Who's going to give you glory now? Hey, who's your new worship leader? And God reached down and grabbed a handful of dirt, squeezed it, blew in it, and said, that is my new worship leader. That's my new worship leader right there. And furthermore, that dirt is going to crush your head. I'll show you how great I am. I'll show you my glory and power through a piece of dirt. Pretty amazing. But a problem happened. When God blew in the dirt became living, a living soul that would live forever. And then the dirt decided to follow Satan. So God became dirt and died to redeem the living souls that he had created. And so what is Satan doing right now? He's doing everything he can to stop you from worshiping God. I want you to bow your heads and close your eyes.